The college basketball opening lines preview and Picks edition, not Dick's, Picks edition.
Picks edition, baby.
For Saturday, February 3rd. On the Sports Gambling Podcast. And this is the Big 12 Experience, everybody. It's brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S.-based and available in 40 states. Head over to cut.com, and that's KUTT.com. Promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus today. And we're also brought to you by the SGPN Patreon. The guys just dropped their bonus episode behind the scenes when Sean won $200,000. Get on over there, check it out, and it's Super Bowl week coming up here. Pick'em prizes free, $250 for a Super Bowl square. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to join today. And welcome, everybody, to the Big 12 College Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Personally, this is my favorite episode of the week because we hit those openers and we've seen how much they move, especially on these Saturday games. It is Friday, February the 2nd, so we're previewing Saturday, February 3rd. And we're doing picks, not dicks over here on the Big 12.
Dick's episode, baby.
Everybody loves Fair Dick, but if you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. And joining me on the Big 12 Experience, you guys know him as a walking contradiction, first off. He was born in Provo, Utah. He's got family in Ames, Iowa. He lives in Morgantown, West Virginia. He's got a contradiction tomorrow. Co-host of the Ryan and Rush Show, Rambling Rush. What's up, man?
Yeah, you're right. It's a contradiction. I guess we got to add that to the vocabulary now. There's dust-ups and there's contradictions. Yeah, the childhood team's playing my team now, the alma mater. So the family's coming to Morgantown. Gonna be there. Gonna be a great day. So looking forward to this one. Should be a good day. Hopefully for one of four bishops and not three of four bishops.
Indeed. A third man in the box. You guys know him as the 6 Zen champion. He's always fighting a family civil war, whether it's in Norman, Stillwater, Waco, Fort Worth. You guys know him as the green mowing, weed growing, Big 12 guru. Troy Chewning, what's up, man?
I already had a hell of a day so far. 4 or 5 drinks deep and got a hole in one on a par 4 on the golf simulator from 267 yards for a $100 gift card.
It's going to be a good season, that is.
One swing, very low tee driver, knocked it down, only carried about 202 yards and rolled the other 65 right into the fucking hole. It was almost like I planned it, but I'm kind of excited for Chad G. He's got the AI art ready to go for Morgantown. That's going to be a cool one.
Mormons. I can't wait till Chad takes that fucking road chalk, takes the Mormons in Morgantown. Come get some meth, Chad G. Dude, this might be the best Big 12 slate of the year. I'm so excited to dive into these matchups. Obviously, the headliner, Houston, first trip to the PHOG. You got Texas going to Fort Worth, their final trip. You got
Cyclones
Baylor.
Of Baylor,
Yeah, that's a good game. K-State, Oklahoma State. I know both teams are struggling, but that's always a good game just because of regionality. Rush, taking aside Houston and Kansas, because that's going to be everybody's favorite game to watch. What are you looking forward to the most in this league with these 14 teams? There's no buys on Saturday, so we have 7 games of action, everybody.
So we can look at this from a couple ways. Obviously, we got the big national game in Kansas, Houston, but we'll put that one to the side. We have the personal showdown, the West Virginia versus BYU, but that does have some great storylines in it. Obviously, BYU away from Provo, coming to Morgantown the first time the basketball team is playing here. So interesting dynamic there. But I'm also looking forward to some of these games like Texas at TCU, obviously an interstate matchup. Texas has lost the last 2. TCU's won the last 3. So something's got to give there. Obviously, Kansas State's trying to turn things around against Oklahoma State, who's doing anything for a win here. Oklahoma's trying to bounce back, of course. Cincinnati versus Texas Tech, 2 teams coming off losses. Could make for an interesting one. Then, of course, the Iowa State Baylor game to wrap things up. We'll see what gives in that one. Great matchups this weekend. They've done a really good job with how they've done their Saturday ones. It's going to be a great day tomorrow in the Big 12. My only complaint is I would have timed things out a little differently. Been a little upset with the Big 12 with their football scheduling coming up. When they've decided to time some of these basketball games. But besides that, we've got some great matchups.
We do. Troy, what are you looking at, man?
So, I mean, the last time that BYU played West Virginia was we were all blasted at Rush's wedding, and that ended up being a hell of a night. We got the moneyline Mac 20 McNuggets, 10-piece McNuggets and 15 McDoubles delivery at 1:45 in the morning. So I'm kind of looking forward to that one. I want to see how Oklahoma responds after getting a pretty big win by a large margin on the road at Kansas State. I know that was pretty much a crossway lock, so you knew to fade that one. But I want to see how they turn around and go on the road. UCF has been a little challenging at home. I don't know if Oklahoma's ready for the palm fronds, but it's been a big week for the Oklahoma Sooners just nationwide. You got Mark Andrews pricking somebody's finger with his diabetic kit, saving their lives by giving them some orange juice on the plane. You got Baker Mayfield, the most accurate passer in the NFL, officially because of the Pro Bowl games. So he's officially the most accurate passer in the league. Things are looking up for Oklahoma. Almost a perfect time to maybe go with the dog.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, man, there's a lot of different headlines. I like to do the standings recap as we head in. Everybody is between 5 wins and 3 wins now. With the exception of Houston, who's 6-2, and Oklahoma State, who's 1-7. So, in the 5-2 club, you got Iowa State, Texas Tech. You got Kansas and TCU at 5-3. You got Baylor at 4-3. You got Oklahoma K-State at 4-4. BYU's the only team at 3-4. And then you got the Cincinnati, Texas, UCF, and West Virginia 3-5. Like we predicted. Everybody within 2 games outside of 2 teams. Pretty remarkable, and I think it's going to keep getting even tighter. So, real quick, let's hit an ad before we dive into this slate because we got to talk to you about the SGPN Patreon. The guys just dropped that new episode, like I said, behind the scenes of Sean win $200,000. That would be nice right now. This week's Patreon pick-em prize is free for a $250 Super Bowl square, plus access to the pick sheet and exclusive channel on the Discord. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. And the promo code, watching right now on youtube.com/the college experience, is TCESGPN. Troy, you got anything cooked up here, man?
I actually do. Underdog doesn't have any of the weekend games available, but I did put together one for the Iowa-Ohio State game tonight. I got Jamison Battle and Ben Crikey, both higher than 13.5 points. I like to say it like Dundee would say it, Crikey.
Crocodile Dundee.
But both higher than 13.5. I know Iowa has kind of transitioned from their deliberate game to a bit more guys around the outside kind of firing it up and letting it go. I think we see a bit of a score off between those two.
Could happen. I like it. So you heard the man. You heard the Big 12 guru. Get over there. Bet it right now over at Underdog Fantasy. And when you use that sign-up code, promo code TCESGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code TCESGPN. All righty. Shout out to chat. Chat's lit. Trevor's in there. Trevor was great on the show last night. Did a great job.
I was going to say we got to shout out Trevor filling in.
Oh, yeah.
Filling in. It was pretty good. You can't change. I know he said something about he's got to look into his lighting. No, you can't. You can't change the lighting. It makes it look like you're getting blasted from heaven with the perfect picks.
You know what I get a kick out of too is everybody's like, Mac, you lock too many games on the show, and then as soon as everybody actually comes on the show, a little nudge, and then it's like, all right, I'll lock it up. Like you end up betting more games when you're on the show, And, I believe in peer pressure. Peer pressure is a good thing. If you haven't been peer pressured, you're not living right. So, you got to be able to balance the demons. Noah all of a sudden is locking up every other game that he used to on his cocktail napkin, only lock 2 games. But ever since he's been full-time, all of a sudden he's giving out 22 plays. It's amazing how that works. Anyway, I'm spitballing fucking nothing. Jamie's in the chat. He's bitching that we haven't started yet. We're getting to it, Jamie. We're getting to it.
Almost on cue every time. Jamie, get to the pick.
It's always 10 minutes in. So it gives you time, get a shit break.
It's a bot. It's Jamie's a bot.
Go take a dump, get a cold one, get ready to go. Do whatever you got to do. Check the mail.
Oh, God.
I don't know what you got to do. All right,
let's check go. The Chad GAI art has been posted.
Oh God!
Oh no!
Do it today. All right, so let's get into it.
It's fucking hilarious.
Send it to me, and we'll display it on the screen. Let's get to Texas is headed to Fort Worth. Fort Worth resides the hottest team right now in the Big 12. I mean, TCU team of the week. It's not even week anymore. They beat Baylor in triple overtime on Saturday, beat Texas Tech earlier in the week, which could have been a letdown game off the triple overtime game. Now they got the Longhorns. They're donating, what is it, like 500 Horns Down shirts to really stick it to Texas. Texas has lost back-to-back games to BYU and Houston. So I was looking back kind of at this history. This is usually a close game. I feel like TCU is going to win it. But I'm going to take the 5, man, or 5.5 at the open right now because Texas is desperate. And when Texas is a dog and they're desperate, they've been good this year. They covered against Houston on Monday night. They won outright at Oklahoma. They beat Baylor in that desperation spot. They won at Cincinnati. It's when they're favorites is when you want to fade the horn. So I'll take Texas. Troy, where you going here, man?
So this one was pretty much decided before we even started the show, and I didn't know that TCU was donating and making Horns Down shirts. So you kind of got to work that into the handicap a little bit. Anybody that's going to rock the Horns Down shirt, I almost should just lay the points just because of that. But TCU, I know it was a 3 overtime game, but against Baylor, they gave up 50 points in the paint. And Texas rebounds significantly better than TCU does. I'm looking for the Dylan Dessou game here, probably something like 22-14 or something incredibly good. I'm taking the points, and I'm sprinkling the money line here with the Texas Longhorns. Ugh. Believe it or not, this is probably the first time I've actually been on their side.
This is an easy pick. Texas has lost their last 2. TCU's been on a bender lately. One of those games includes a 3 overtime game. TCU's bye is coming up too. So, they might find a little bit in the reserve since they're not playing this week to squeak this one out. If they had a game coming up this week, I would probably lean a little more towards sprinkling the money line with Texas, but it's still very possible, Troy. The only thing that makes me a little nervous about this is because of all those factors and all of us agreeing, does this line stink? But I don't think it does. I think Texas plus 5.5 you got to think they grind it down. Texas also, it's in state. They've shown that they can win on the road too. So I'm taking the points with Texas. I agree. Let's see. And Kennedy is on Texas as well.
Dang, no God. Fort Worth for Kennedy.
Maybe the line does stink.
Kennedy's almost a lock for Fort Worth.
Now it's going to happen. Texas is going to be.
I was going to say Trevor made a good point about their ATS record. TCU overall is 13-8 against the spread, and Texas is only 7-14, so they're not really one to cover. But this is the most points that TCU has laid. So maybe you win this one. Maybe that hook is what keeps it from not stinking. And when it goes to that 4.5, then it really fucking smells. But man, I don't know if TCU has an answer inside for Texas.
I can't wait till when TCU wins by 3. It'll be perfect. Texas covers, Texas loses, just like Monday night. That's the dream scenario. Just they keep you coming back just to let you down, and always horns down. Fuck Texas. All right, next up, game of the day. I would say in college basketball, but you got, in my opinion, it is. But you got Duke, Carolina, you got Kentucky, Tennessee. Unbelievable weekend. So, for us, by far the biggest game of the year. Houston's going to the Phog, and we are catching points as a home dog with the system. I am going to be on Kansas. I already tweeted it out. This is no surprise. I know the analytics love Houston, but I think they're inflated because of how fucking dominant at home they are. When they hit the road, they have not been good. I think they're 1-3 ATS. In the Big 12, I mean, they lost outright at Iowa State as a 2.5-point favorite, similar to this. Lost at TCU as a 5.5-point favorite outright. Almost lost to BYU, barely covered that. They were 3-point favorites, and didn't cover against Texas on Monday night. They could have lost that if Texas gave them the game at the end. So you're giving me as a home dog the guy that has less losses in that building than Big 12 championships he's had. Get the fuck out of your Kansas all day. Money line.
Now, I know you said something about the analytics really liking Houston. I was telling you before the show, 74% of the matchups that they ran the simulation on, Houston won the game. So I feel like when somebody's asking if the 1.5 is bait for Kansas, I feel like the half is. I think Kansas might win this game by 1 point. But that's not what we're picking. This is Kelvin Sampson's circled game on the schedule all year long. This is the one that matters. And Kansas is soft, and Houston is, like you were saying earlier, this is the Dick show. Houston is hard. All right. I'm laying the points with Houston. I think they're really, really good. I think I'm doing it. I've been off on every Kansas pick too. So keep this in mind. Everybody that's listening, I've been off on every single Kansas pick for the last 3 weeks. And it is officially February. So the system is, the page has been turned. It's time for Kansas. Houston gets this one, and I'm alt-lining this one to 7.5 in Houston's favor, 100%. I think Houston might smash this. I really think Houston might smash this.
So
I don't think Kansas is that good. They haven't been playing great basketball.
I will say there is a point to Troy. If the game is close, Kansas is going to win. Like, Houston's not going to win a close game because you're going to start getting beep, 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 8-on-5. Houston has to be 20 points better. So actually, I disagree that Houston's going to win. But if you do like that angle, Troy's angle is actually pretty good.
Yeah, first of all, if you're just going to bet the game, don't even take the 1.5, just bet the Houston money line. And if you're going to bet the Houston money line, you've probably got a pretty good chance of alt-lining that to, at least 5.5 or something like that. If they're a 15-point better team, they'll only win the game by 5 or 6 points because of the Phog and because of 8-on-5. So, but I'm big on Houston, I'm a big Kelvin Sampson guy, and like I said, it's been a Sooner week, and he's still got a little bit of Sooner blood in him. So,
tell me if you've heard this story before. A little slow start in January for Kansas. People are questioning him. What happened to Kansas? They lose in Morgantown. Things aren't going right for Kansas, and all of a sudden, February strikes, and then they get a game like this, and next thing you know, they're in the Big 12 tournament, and it's like, well, no one wants to play Kansas. Kansas is winning this game. This is easy. This is an easy pick. I will say though, the chance that Houston does win this, I think the argument, two things can be true, is Houston's a good team, and maybe this isn't the same Kansas, but this is Kansas's. This is usually, you don't question Kansas till after this game. And I don't think Kansas is going anywhere. I think this is when they step up and do what they do. For everything you said, it's going to be a close game. Then 8-on-5 is going to appear, and Kansas is going to squeak by like 4 points. So
now the other angle is Houston wins this game on the road, and you put the house on Kansas to still find a way to win the regular season in the Big 12. Because if Houston wins this game on the road and at Phog, you're going to get the best value you've ever seen on Kansas to still find a way back in the regular season. And with everybody kind of grouped up, there's a chance that teams, go on the road or an injury occurs. And if for some reason Houston does win this game, and if they somehow win the game by, more than 2 possessions or 2 possessions or so, that value on Kansas is going to skyrocket.
Yeah, Kansas, the rest of their schedule, though, it's the Big 12.
If
Everyone's
loses
brutal.
They're not going to win the league, though. They I feel
That's
like
what they want you to think, Mac.
This is the year that they run the table at home. They usually lose one early, or if they do. But I think, like you said, they're not as good this year, where they put an even stronger emphasis on home court and protecting home court. So what is Kennedy doing, Rush?
He's on Kansas.
All right. Troy is in the foxhole. All right.
Cougar Island. I like Cougar Island. I can deal with some older women.
This next game is very intriguing. I'm looking forward. This is an underrated game, and I don't think this is going to be a blowout. Cincinnati's headed to Lubbock. I think these are two hard fucking nose teams here. Both are coming off losses earlier in the week. Cincinnati disappointed that they lost in Morgantown. You look on the other side, Texas Tech, they finally came back to the pack a little bit against TCU. Like I said, man, I think this is a 4 or 5 point game, and we talked about it with Cincinnati, man. You look at their losses on the road. 4 to West Virginia, hard place to play. Kansas at the PHOG, 5-point loss. At Baylor, 3-point loss. They don't really get blown out just with their style of play. I think this is a grinded out football match. Toughness wins in the end. I think Texas Tech will probably win the game, but I'm going to take the points with the Bearcats in a double road spot here. I think you're going to get their best punch here against Texas Tech in a little bit of a desperate spot. They've lost 3 out of 4 now, so I'll be on the Bearcats here.
I think this one is your double trouble play. I think you get the early bet in here at 5.5 on Cincinnati, and if for some reason it comes down to that 3.5, or even, the 4.5 would be a rough one to play. But if it does for some reason get all the way down to 3.5, then you take Tech and you hope for a 4-point game or a 5-point game. But at 5.5, I do think Cincinnati will hang around a little bit. And it seems like it's only going to be a 1 or 2 possession game. So I'm going to take that hook and hopefully use it in my favor on Cincinnati's side. But it has been a very tough team to read. Cincinnati has not been, really any kind of consistently good or bad. I guess just kind of walking down the line, the analytics give this Tech team a 71% chance to win, but I'm pretty sure out of that 71%, only 8 or 9% were above the 6 or more mark. So I think maybe the 5.5 with Tech is bait, and the 5.5 for Cincy is the safer pick. So I'm taking the points. Bearcats, Skyline Chili, all the Bengals fans saying that, Joe Burrow and the Bengals would have been way better than the Ravens. Might not be wrong.
So I've been very impressed with this Cincinnati team this year. I think they're very underrated. I don't think they get enough attention. I don't think they get the attention they deserve. The 2 games that really hurt them is obviously their home games, losing to Texas and Oklahoma, but that was by a combined 5 points. And the Texas game was a 1 point. That game was a grinded out. I was very impressed watching Cincinnati play West Virginia here in Morgantown earlier this week. My feelings towards the Cincinnati team are, I'm not calling them a top 16 team in the country because they're not. But I could see them, if they can make this tournament, sneak in there as the 11 seed, even that play-in 11 seed, that dangerous 11 seed that we talk about. They get that big win over the 6 and then have to play the 3. And they're like, depending on which 3 that is, we just went through the Big 12 gauntlet. We can play these guys. Next thing you know, a team like Cincinnati's in the Sweet 16. And I could see that happening for this team if they catch, if they get hot at the right time and get themselves into the tournament. I like Cincinnati in this game. I think I don't know if they outright win it, but it's everything that we're talking about, guys. They're going to keep it close. They don't struggle on the road. They play teams close. So I really like the points here with Cincinnati as well. Kennedy is on Texas Tech.
And you want to know, too, I think that they play well because they don't depend on making shots.
Yeah,
it's like
they play a brand of basketball that's not, bombing up from deep and 1 week will look great and the next week will look terrible.
Yeah, it's honestly, they look like an old Hugs team, to be honest. Like they got a little bit of that. We're gonna just go get it off the glass. Fucking.
He could be a silent advisor, right? He could be a silent advisor just to spite Dub V.
Could.
Well, hey, he was wearing Dub V against Cincinnati the other night. Maybe he was under disguise. He may have been rooting for Cincinnati. I don't know.
He needs to put the fake mustache on and like Bobby Valentine put the fake mustache on and be like, oh no, West Virginia has a new assistant coach, Rob Thuggins.
Oh man, we got too much fun on this show. All right, we're brought to you by Cut, and if you want to bet head to head and take the Texas Tech Red Raiders against us, get over there to cut.com. And it's great, man. You got a social peer-to-peer social betting platform that's US based and available in 40 states. And just get over there. Cut.com, KUTT.com, promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. It allows you to list almost any kind of bet you want. Perfect for getting down on the action with those fun Super Bowl props. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting platform for parlays, props, game lines. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets who craft a more intelligent, data-driven parlay. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Boom. We're back. Let's fucking go. I just sent
you the new Chad Morgantown, the updated one.
Oh yeah, we have an advised one.
we have an alcohol included one.
There you go.
That should be called the Rush one. The Morgantown meets West Virginia. There's the contradiction. There it is.
Chad, you need to put those up as NFTs and sell them for $150,000.
All right, let's talk about the final. Wait a minute. Where's
Iowa State?
UCF? Who's UCF got?
Oklahoma.
Where's that line at? All right, I'll come back to that. Anyway, let's go to one I do have. Iowa State's going to Baylor. Wacko Waco, baby. Bears are laying 2.5. That was a big win the other night, Troy. We didn't get to talk about it because it was a Wednesday game, but I think Baylor found something the other night. Their back was against the wall. They were down double digits. They were on the verge of losing 4 in a row. I felt like they went to the zone. I thought it was effective. I like him coming back home. I actually really like this game. This is lock-worthy. And Iowa State, man, they've won 3 in a row. They just beat back-to-back Kansas schools. They've had a week off. They've been feeling themselves. Iowa State's a fade on the road. I know they won at TCU, but before that, drilled at BYU, beat it at Oklahoma. They got their one road win. They're not going to win back-to-back road games. I like Baylor here. Make some shots. Iowa State did win their last year though, but I still like. I think they'll play that zone, make Iowa State make shots on the road, and they won't fall. Give me the Bears, lay the points.
Yeah, just coming off the fact that Iowa State's weekend game last week was some of the best shooting that we've ever seen in a game from a team. Not necessarily, just percentage wise, but the difficulty of shots that they were making that were going in from long range. I don't really see them reproducing that at Baylor. I think this line is a little disrespectful in Baylor's favor. Actually, I think I would think about 4.5. I mean, I'm laying the points with Baylor here. This is like Scott Drew said after the last game. They're 2 or 3 possessions away from being like the number 5 team or the number 4 team in the nation, and. Yes. If nobody wants to come to the forefront in terms of between Ray J. Dennis and Nunn and Jacoby Walter just kind of doing the on and off, a lot like Keontae George last year, where he has the talent, but he doesn't really want to go get the ball and take over the game. Give me Langston Love, dude. He sat on the bench with injuries and then the eye problem that he had last year, and now he's finally just getting playing time. He's not even going to go anywhere. He's going to come back and play next year too. So, let me lay the points here with Baylor. Let me alt it to 4.5 as well. I might even think about like a 6.5 or a 7.5, just in hopes that Iowa State bricks maybe 2 or 3 more threes underneath their average, and that works out in Baylor's favor.
I don't know if I'd alt it to 4.5. I do like 3.5. Mitchell put that in the chat. 3.5 seems
I like that too.
What this line should be. I agree. Iowa State's been on a win streak themselves. Could come out a little rusty, especially being on the road against Baylor. And then my guess is they're staying in Texas because then they're in Austin, either Monday or Tuesday next week. So I think Iowa State splits this, and I think it's more likely that they lose to Baylor and then beat Texas, especially for all of us, what we predict that Texas is going to do against TCU, and then they go back home. This just feels like a scheduled loss that we like to say. It just feels right. Like Baylor by 4
the BYU
just
game.
seems right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This just feels like a scheduled loss for Iowa State. Lose by 4, move on, beat Texas, and then you got a game at home. So that is my angle, and we'll see what Kennedy's is. Kennedy is going to Iowa State.
All right, road team. He likes some Cyclones.
Yeah, Kennedy likes natural disasters so that he can use the federal government allocated money to make himself look good. Okay, Kennedy, go fuck yourself. Baylor's winning this game by a lot.
He likes the Cyclones on the road. Nice.
You know what? I'm going to alt it to 7.5. Fuck you guys. If we're going Houston 7.5 at the PHOG, then we're definitely going Baylor 7.5 at home.
I was about to say, you like 7.5 number. That's your fucking number. That's 7.5. I outlined give me 7.5.
It's the 6-point game. Miss a 3 because you try to force a 3 and then 2 free throws.
True. All right, so I added these 2 games. These lines just came out. K-State at OK State, Oklahoma at UCF. They're both 1.5-point lines. How about that? K-State's going to Oklahoma State. K-State's laying 1.5 points. Oklahoma State should have won the first game in Manhattan, man.
This is the one. This is the one.
Yeah, So I don't know if you guys watched the Divine of Providence, like the whole drama with Ed Cooley. And I'm not saying that the similar shit's going on right now with K-State and Jerome Tang, but I get the vibes that this might be it for Tang. I think with the whole thing that went down with Tomlin and administration, I like Oklahoma State here. I think Oklahoma State's going to win the game outright. I think the line's telling you this. I could actually see this flip into Oklahoma State being favored. I don't trust K-State on the road at all. Barely trust them at home, and they just lost by 20 at home. That doesn't happen to this team in this fan base. So maybe they get right on Monday against Kansas at home, just because it'll be the Sunflower Showdown shit show that game always is on Big Monday. But I'm gonna ride the Cowboys here. I'm gonna take the home small puppy. Give me Mike Boynton to get win number 2 in the Big 12.
Yeah, I'm laying the money line on this one. The Stillwater free press. The Oklahoma State writer hasn't picked the Cowboys in a single game this year, whether it's to cover a spread with plus points or on the money line at all. And he's taken Oklahoma State to win this game outright, like out of nowhere. I think they know something. And with how, for lack of better words, with how shitty they looked against Oklahoma at home in the octagon. And I have a weird feeling that this game is going to be pretty packed for Oklahoma State, and maybe they'll have a little bit of the home cooking that isn't always there in Stillwater. I'm taking the points. I'm laying the money line. This isn't even a sprinkle money line play. This is like a full 2-unit money line play on Oklahoma State for me.
I have no feel in this game. I could see this going. Either way. Yeah. So just to be fair for anyone that uses my picks, if there are any of you out there, the confidence level is low on this one. I'm going to pick Kansas State here -1.5. I do think they're on a bit of a losing streak. We have talked about Tang this year. I just think this Oklahoma State team, obviously they got up against West Virginia last week. The game that West Virginia should have put away, but it was remembering the 10. It was that game for them, so they were able to get up. I think there's 1 or 2 more wins for this Oklahoma State team in here. I just don't know if this is it. It feels like it's too close to their other win where they still have to go on a little bit of a losing streak. So I think Kansas State, they've lost 3 in a row. I feel like that's got to change. But you guys are onto something. If they do lose this game and it's 4 in a row, then there are
big time
the issues. Yes, the issues that we were concerned about with Tang are very real. Kennedy is joining me at Kansas State -1.5.
All right. K-State.
Sorry, I had to run because I can't believe that I didn't have this prop ready for this game. But how do you expect Tang to beat an orange team?
Tang is or
Tang is orange. Could this be a
so
splinter?
Wouldn't it Tang own Oklahoma State then?
But the Tang is way smaller than the rest of the orange on the container.
But the Tang owns it though.
Only Troy would come up with something like this.
Yeah, I would have a fucking 75 serving thing of Tang right around the corner sitting in the kitchen.
Welcome to the Big 12 college experience, everybody. All right, next game up. This one's intriguing, and Troy talked about this in his pregame, or not pregame, and maybe he did talk about it while he was pregaming for the show. But Oklahoma's going to UCF, back-to-back road spot for Oklahoma. They just won by 20 on the road. UCF just dropped a home game. I love UCF here. I think UCF is pretty fucking good in that building. Like I said, man, they were fucking right there to beat Baylor. They beat West Virginia and Kansas in that building already. They've lost 2 in a row here. I think that if they want to get back into that potential at-large bubble spot, I think this is a game that UCF has to get. I mean, Oklahoma, they got their win in Kansas. Now they're fucking happy and fat going down to the bounce house Saturday. Fucking warm weather. I just like the athleticism in that home court. Give me UCF all day here, baby. Let's go.
See, I feel Oklahoma's been one of the other teams along with Cincinnati. We're trying to get a read on them is just almost pointless. Thought they really had no shot against Kansas State. They blow them out. Would think that UCF at 1.5 covers this. I would think that they win at home. And for that reason, we're going Oklahoma and laying the points. The Palm Fronds have been rocking, but eventually with the amount of drug usage down in Orlando, they've got to run out sometime. You got to think that they're going to have it might not be smart to pick for them to run out of the bath salts on the weekend because I'm sure they've been saving up for this, but I'm going to go ahead and lay the points with Oklahoma. I really do think that they're right in the middle of the pack of the Big 12. Like they might be the median average team in the Big 12, really. And I just think UCF is a little bit below that. I think we've already seen the high points of UCF. I don't know if they ever get back to that high point again. And Porter Moser is typically the issue for Oklahoma, but Johnny Dawkins isn't, Scott Drew or Jerome Tang or someone that has any kind of big experience in the league. I think maybe Porter Moser wins this game as a coach on the road. So I'm laying the points with Oklahoma here.
I'm with you, Troy. I'm laying the points with Oklahoma as well. I know UCF was in a grinded out game against Baylor and had a chance to win that, and they didn't even cover. But anyway, and then Oklahoma just got their win against Kansas State. So obviously there's that factor. I get the home dog factor. But here's the thing, and I brought this point up earlier on the show with Kansas, right, is we start to get to this point of the season. It's the good teams start to rise to the top. The teams that, maybe started off fast or the new 4 into the Big 12 are kind of those teams that you start to see, they start hitting a wall at this point too. And I think because this is UCF's first year in the Big 12 and Johnny Dawkins is their coach, I think we're going to start seeing the more experienced teams rise to the top here. And Oklahoma is that kind of what you were saying, even though Oklahoma is going to the SEC. And I know Porter Moser's had his issues, but I could see kind of UCF kind of start fading at this point as well. I think it'll be a tough environment to play at. I think they'll always have a chance. Like you need to take them seriously, but I could see them kind of going to the pre-Big 12 expectations that we had for this UCF program. I'm taking OU minus 1.5, and Kennedy is taking UCF.
UCF better get this game. I just looked at their schedule because they got Lubbock and Provo on deck. Yep. So they got a back-to-back road spot, so they cannot be losing this one.
This is the universe telling you big Sooner week. Everybody from Oklahoma is, besides how Jalen Hurts looked in that quarterback accuracy passing thing, he couldn't even hit the 1-point target. I could do that with my fucking knockdown 7-iron. Besides that, everything else has been, pretty in favor of the Sooners throughout the week. I think the momentum is telling you at only 1.5. Maybe because they're on the road, you take the money line, but there's a chance that Oklahoma wins this game pretty convincingly.
We shall see. All right. Final game. I'll be here with Rush. Go check out. And where is it? Here's the image for tonight's or tomorrow night's game in Morgantown.
Oh, hell yeah. Shout out Chad G. Yeah.
That's me. That's the
Rush right there.
You need to
listen
Russian
contradiction. Russian Peyton right there.
We got old Morgantown tomorrow at 6:00 Eastern. The Super Soakers headed to Morgantown, the Hills. Here was the other one he made.
That was version 1. We had to get an update.
You had to get the moonshine.
YouTube.com/the college experience. Shout out to Chad G. He's the absolute best. So there's no line out on this. So I'll make the line. West Virginia -10. Just kidding. I think BYU.
Lay it.
So BYU here. I'll go KenPom. BYU's laying 11. It's not going to be 11 points. I will say
if it is, it's easy.
I was going to say 3.5.
No.
I think
5.5.
I think it's going to be like 7.5. I think BYU. Yeah, Bartorvik as BYU 10.5. I'll project the line. Let's see how good I am. I'll say BYU is laying 8.5. 8.5 is my initial projection. And get the fuck out of here. I mean, how many more times are they going to give us the Mountaineers home dog in the Coliseum till they fucking figure it out? Mountaineers outright. BYU's not the same team away from home. They don't make shots. They shoot so many goddamn threes. So give me the Mountaineers. This is going to be another juicy money line, just like Texas, just like Kansas. Cincinnati was a little bit juicy, but Mormon's hitting the road. Mountaineers, baby. Let's go.
So I know we didn't do a show before the 2-game slate on Wednesday, right? Mm-hmm. And I know Mac and I put up that we would lay the points with Baylor and take the points at home with West Virginia and probably sprinkle the West Virginia money line. It's the exact same play. Whenever they're in Morgantown, especially if they're not playing Houston and you're getting, 8.5. I mean, if for some reason this line comes out and it's 9.5 or 10.5, smash it. I think West Virginia wins this game outright. I think as a racial handicap, I think Raekwon Battle is going to have a pretty good game. Just hinting. I'm going to take the points, whatever they're giving you from West Virginia. I'm going to lay the money line for West Virginia. I'm going to take the over on Raekwon Battle points. And I always forget who it is in the chat, but we're going to take the Kirk Risa over 1.5 threes as well.
He has been shooting it well.
He has been. He's kind of turned it around. We need more shit talk in the chat and we need to find out what Chad G's betting. Yeah, because
Chad's not allowed. Actually,
he's been on a heater. He's been on a West Virginia heater.
He did hop on the Mountaineers against Cincinnati. I talked him into it. He's gonna.
Let's do it. We're taking alt spread West Virginia 7.5.
Yeah,
we're gonna do the 7.5 3-way parlay. All the teams to just spank in a league where no one's been spanked. And it's the week where you think you've got all the awesome, like real close matchups. Just got to zag when everybody else is zigging.
Rush, what do you think? Do you think the Mountaineers blow them out?
I think they win by 10. I really do.
I think the chat might be onto something.
I
talk me into it.
I think West Virginia wins this game by 10 points. Maybe a little more, double digits. This is just, I'm trying to think how to explain it, like more than the feeling. Because obviously I know both these teams quite well. I know both these cultures quite well. And I know BYU's not the same team as they are on the road. There's something about West Virginia. I mean, I guess we can see if it translates to basketball where I know we joke about it and stuff, but they crumple when it comes to playing in Morgantown or versus a West Virginia team. Because I guess one of the games was at FedEx at one time. West Virginia is winning this game. It's at home. They've done well in Morgantown. I think BYU might get off to a little bit of a fast start with some threes, but then I could see those threes just not going in. And that's how I think the game's going to go. Obviously, there's a lot of family pride on this game. So my bias may kick in, but on the reverse end, like I said, I know if there's one person that knows these programs very well inside and out, it's also me too. So West Virginia wins this, man. They win it big. It may not look like it right away in the first half, but I think the second half is where they come alive, and BYU just crumbles. So
Did
West Virginia all day, whatever number it is.
I saw Zoidberg said the number is 9.5. Did you get that from somewhere, or is that
was that a projection, Zoidberg?
Yeah, was that a projection, or did you find that somewhere?
Please be 9.5.
Please be 9.5. Oh my God! Please be 9.5.
I would take wrong team favored by 9.
I would 100% make that the alt line the other way.
Dude, they're still giving us these West Virginia home lines like they have 7 players. They've beaten Kansas, Texas, and Cincinnati outright the last 3. It's another one, man.
And you know the system when they're full, like the Emperor Palpatine, you will now experience the power of this fully operational battle station when they're playing at home and they've got everybody. Man, Zoidberg came up with it. Fuck, because I would have laid that shit.
Yeah, everybody should probably just fade us when they're on the road. But I'm telling you, take them when they're at home. It's a hard place to play. So, all right, man. What did Kennedy do, Rush?
Kennedy's on the BYU Cougars. Wants to do some soak and wants to super soak.
You're an idiot.
Well, that's why he has to get head, Get
the fuck. He was on Kansas and Texas and Cincinnati too. All right. Lock, dog, tease time, baby. Let's get in it. Lock.
Well, you go first, Rush, just in case you got to get out of here.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good.
He's got 5 minutes. Well, go ahead though. Yeah, lead it off.
Okay. My issue with the lock is I don't know what plus 5.5 team to take. Cincy or Texas. I'm gonna go Texas, unfortunately.
All right, Texas. Hook 'em. Troy.
Lock and Baylor.
Sick 'em. So we got
Lock and Baylor, smash it up. Alt line, take it big.
Pay heed, all who enter the fog. Rock chalk, lock it up. Get this fucking Houston shit out of here.
Chad, the good thing is I could just be like, oh, I was raised Mormon. I'm one of you, so I'll be just fine. Dog, just for you, Chad G. WVU. Alt line minus 9.5.
Again. Are all three of us going to go WU?
No, dog is Oklahoma State Cowboys.
I like that. I like that one. Small pup.
This is the one game that Stillwater gets up for.
Boom. I'm on the Mountaineers. I'll be in there. I'll watch it live again with Rush. We're on a heater ever since we started going to some games. We turned things around after that Texas game, Rush. Good at home.
Absolutely.
Hopefully when we hit the road, we can start getting some road games. But yeah, we're going to win another home game tomorrow. Let's go Mountaineers. That's my dog. And it's going to be a juicy one. That thing's going to be plus 250, I bet. Plus 275, maybe even plus 300. So easy. Let's go. Round robin, real quick.
Is there a chance, Rush, that you could get like your vows renewed after a few months so that we could get the same mojo and do the round robin Oklahoma State, West Virginia dogs?
Could you be talking OK State, Rush?
Oh, yeah. I like I said, no feeling on that. My two biggest in terms of confidence levels, the OU, the 2 games that are minus 1.5, I could see either way. Maybe that's I guess Kansas is. I feel.
Troy, can we throw Kansas in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
So let's go West Virginia, Oklahoma State, and Kansas for our round robin.
There we go.
But make sure everybody knows if you're going to do that, just do West Virginia and Oklahoma State as a separate 2-way parlay as well. The last time we had the Mormon Magic, Rush hit it big for Gundy and for West Virginia. They blew them out of the building.
There you go.
So we're looking for a little bit of the same mojo. Maybe I'll go find the whatever weed strain I was smoking 5 months ago and bust that back out.
There we go. Love it.
You're gonna have plenty of time to do it, man. Tomorrow's gonna be absolute fire. We'll be back on the college basketball experience here later tonight, 10 Eastern. Me, Noah Beanick. We got a gauntlet here tonight. So get in
tomorrow night. I'll be on the main show too, guys.
Yes, and so we'll Rush. So Big 12 before the main show tomorrow night, recapping, and then we go into that Saturday recap show. That's always a shit show. So set your reminders. Stay tuned. I don't think we're gonna have Dundee for a little bit. You guys know why. So he'll be back when he's back. He'll announce when he's when he wants to announce. It's his announcement to make, not mine.
We gotta put a line out there on how old Lil Dundee is gonna be when Dundee takes a video of him making a pick, like I do with Tibbles between two toys. When he crawls up to one of them, he's hammering Kansas State tonight, baby.
That's what he should do for his pick of the day. So he probably might hit at the same rate if he just as a kid. So all right, guys, this is the Big 12 College Experience. He's at Troy Chewning. He's at Rambling Rush. I'm at moneyline_Mac. We'll see you guys tomorrow night on the Big 12 show. We'll see you on the main show here tonight. And we are out of here. Cheers. Have a good weekend.